This audiobook is about the secret of the stones. Chapter 1 Holiday Time. Laura and Max are twins. They live in London with their mom and dad. They always have interesting adventures on holiday. They visit different countries and cities. This summer, they are going to stay in a small cottage in the country. The cottage is in the village called Stonecross, near Salisbury. Max and Laura aren't very happy. Boring, says Max. He looks at the map. The cottage is in the middle of the field. What can we do in the middle of the field? Why are we going to there? Asked Laura. Their dad is very tired. He says he wants to relax and sleep a lot. Their mom loves the country. She wants to walk and paint. It is very beautiful part of England, she says. Full of culture, tradition, mystery. Mystery, says Max and Laura together. Mystery. Okay, let's go. Chapter 2 Stonecross. The next day, Uncle Stephen and Auntie Barbara arrive. They have lots of suitcases. This year, the two families are going on holiday together. Mom drives car. Dad sleeps. Dad always sleeps. Uncle Stephen and Auntie Barbara follow in their slow car. 2 hours later, they arrive at Stonecross and found their cottage in the middle of the field. There are green hills, beautiful cottage, flowers, sheep and cows everywhere. It's lovely, says Max and Laura. It's perfect, says Mom and Auntie Barbara. Dad says nothing. He's sleeping in the car. What do you think, Stephen? Do you like it? Uncle Stephen doesn't answer. He is looking into the distance. His eyes are very black and strange. What's the matter, Stephen? Asked Auntie Barbara. Don't you like the cottage? Yes, it's wonderful, he says. Come on, everyone, let's take these suitcases inside. Wake up, Andrew. Dad wakes up. They take the suitcases and go inside. But Uncle Stephen waits. He wants to talk to his wife. Barbara, I must tell you something, he says. His voice is very strange. This place. Yes, darling, this place is in my book. Do you remember? The book I am studying about mysteries is. But Stephen, that book is very old. It's full of strange codes and secret messages. Exactly. Don't you understand? This is the place where. Come on, Barbara. Come on, Stephen, shouts Mom from the cottage. We are coming, Uncle Stephen and Auntie Barbara answer. But when they walk to the cottage, their faces are white. They look very worried. Chapter 3 Mr. Carter and Mrs. Black. The cottage is big. There are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs. Downstairs, there is a big kitchen, a living room, and the study. Uncle Stephen wants to use the study. He must finish some works during the holiday. Uncle Stephen is an historian. What does Uncle Stephen do exactly? Laura asked. Her mother replied, he studies history. Max is confused. But I study history too, at school. But it's not my job. Yes, but Uncle Stephen writes book about history. He thinks about history. He tries to understand the thing that no one understands. For example, Laura asked. Well, Mom replied. For example, the mysteries of Stonehenge. So, what about Stonehenge? What it is? Mystery? No one really? No. Ask Uncle Stephen. Tomorrow we are going to see it. Suddenly there is a knock at the door. Mom opens it and an old man comes in. He has white hair and an angry face. My name's Carter, he says in an angry voice. I had looked after this cottage. Is everything okay? There is wood for the fire in the garden. There are sheets and pillows downstairs. If you have anything problem, tell me. Have you got any problem? No, Mom remembers. Yes, Mr. Carter is a caretaker. He looks after the cottage when no one is staying in it. Thank you, Mr. Carter. It's very kind of you. But we have no problems. Mr. Carter wants a problem to solve, so he is not very happy. He goes to the door. Then he stops suddenly. Turn around and look at them. Mrs. Black is coming, he says. Mrs. Black is coming soon. Be careful. He opens the door and goes out. What? Asked Mom. Who is Mrs. Black? Asked Max. And why be careful? Is she dangerous? Asked Auntie Barbara. Probably a witch from Stonehenges, says Laura. Everyone laughs. Don't talk about the things you don't understand, says Uncle Stephen. There is another knock at the door. They all stop. There is a silence in the room. Max opens the door. No one speaks. Hello everyone, says a happy voice. A woman comes into the cottage. She is quite old, fat, hurt. She is pretty. She has blue eyes, silver earring and big pink face. Hello, my name is Mrs. Black. Mrs. Black is a housekeeper. She helps with the cooking and cleaning with the families comes for the holiday in the cottage. She helped them. She lives in different cottage in the village with her son. Mrs. Black is very nice and they start to relax. Later, they eat a big dinner and then say goodbye to their new friend, the housekeeper. They are very tired and soon everyone is sleeping. Everyone but Uncle Stephen. He can't sleep because he is thinking about the book he is studying. Chapter 4. Laura and Max explore the village. On the morning, Laura and Max decided to explore the small village of Stonecross. Bye, have a nice time. Come home for lunch at 1 o'clock, says their mom. In the square, there is a post office, a bakery, a green grocery, a newsagent's, and there are some other small shops. Let's buy something to drink in this new agent's, says Max. It's very hot. A woman is working in the shop. They says, Good morning, and smile at the woman. But she does not smile at them. She looks the twins with the cold eyes. You two aren't from Stonecross? What do you want? The woman is not very friendly. 2 cans of Coke, please, says Max. 1.60 pounds. She gave them the kind Coke and they give her the money. The woman's cold eyes do not change. Tourists don't visit usually the Stonecross, she says. Her voice is cold too. It's not a good idea. Remember that. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye, says Lara. They run out of the shop very quickly. In the square, the sun is shining. Everything is normal again. Wow, there are some strange people in this village, says Max. They walk along another street, and suddenly a man appeared. He is not very old. He is wearing a black suit and tie with a strange design on it. The twins stop. The man smiles. He says, "Hello, hello, two explorers in Stone Cross. Are you on the holiday? Are you having nice time?" Yes, thank you, replied Rara. "My name is Martin Knight. What are your names?" "Max and Laura Marrel," they say together. Sometimes twins understand what the other is thinking. Sometimes they speak together. Marrel, is your father the famous historian, Stephen Marrel?" "No, he's our uncle, not our father. He's on holiday with us and Stonecross." "Do you know him?" The man doesn't answer. Max questioned. "I say Stephen Marrel is here in the Stonecross. Very interesting. And tell me, what is he studying at the moment?" "Oh, a really old book about mysteries and secrets. Sorry," Mr. cried. "But it's very late. We must go home and have lunch." Laura stopped him. "Come on, Max, it's time to go." "Can we meet tomorrow?" says Martin Knight. "You can tell me about your uncle's old book." "Okay," says Max. "Come on, Max," says Laura. And the twins go home along the road. "Sorry, Max, but I don't like that man," explained Laura. "He wants to know about Uncle Stephen and his book. But Uncle Stephen is very famous. Lot of people want to know about him." "I know, but this man is different. Can't explain why." "Not everyone is changed in Stonecross. Think of Mrs. Black. She is nice, normal woman." "Yes, you are right. Sorry, but it's 1:15 and we must go home." Chapter 5. A Visit to Stonehenges. When the twins get home, everyone is waiting for them. Mrs. Black is there too. "What do you think about the little village?" she asked. "The village is lovely, but some of the people are strange," replies Rara. Mrs. Black laughs. I know. Don't worry about the people. They don't see many tourists. Not many people come to Stonecross. "Are you ready to go to Stonehenge this afternoon?" asks Auntie Barbara. Mrs. Black says, "You're going to Stonehenges? It's nothing special. A circle of old stone, that's all. Stonehenges is near the village of Stonecross. They take the car in 20 minutes. They are there." Laura suddenly shouts, "Look, there it is! There it is!" And down in the valley, they see Mrs. Black, circle of old stone. "It's spectacular," says Uncle Stephen. "Around the stone, there is a fence. People can't touch them. And they can go nearby and take photographs." Everyone gets an audio guide and they start to walk around the enormous stone circle. Uncle Stephen walks in the opposite direction and looks at his book of mystery. He reads something and then looks at the stone. Then he walks away. He looks at the hill and the tree near the stone. 3 hills around the stone. Yes, it is a type of triangle, he says to himself. Then he looks at the stone again. Uncle Stephen is thinking. Half an hour later, the others return. "Stonehenges is fantastic," they say. But Uncle Stephen is not listening. He is reading his book again and looking at the stone and the hills around them. "Time for something to drink," says Mom. They all walk to the small cafe near the tourist shop. Come on, Stephen. Are you coming with us? Finally, Uncle Stephen put his book in his bag and followed the other. Chapter 6. A Thief. The family finally gets back to the cottage. Everyone is very happy, but they are also tired. The sun shining and everything seems in perfect order. They park the car and go to the cottage. That's strange, Dad says. I can't move the keys. I can't open the door. Let's try the another door, Mom says. They walk to the small door at the back of the cottage. Suddenly, everyone stops. The door is open. Impossible, says Laura. Only Mrs. Black has got the key. Mom and Auntie Barbara screams. Thieves, they says. Inside the cottage, there is chaos. The cupboards are empty. The drawers are open and things are on the floor. Our money, Dad says. My jewelry, says Mom. Uncle Stephen says, what's missing? We must call the police. They look in all the room, but nothing is missing. Look, our money is here. Thief doesn't want money. Dad says happily. And look, my jewelry is here. He doesn't want my diamond ring, says Mom. So why? What is interesting for the thief here? Asks Max. Uncle Stephen's face is very serious. I think I know the answer to that question. This is what the thief wants, he says, and takes the book of mystery from his bag. That old book? But why? Says Max. I'm studying the mysteries of Stone Ages. Some people think that it is an ancient computer, Uncle Stephen explained. I don't understand, says Laura. Ancient people understand lot of things that we don't understand now. Things about the stars, about energy, mathematics and communication. We think that Stone Ages is an enormous computer. It connected information to other ancient computers around the world. Like the pyramid? Laura says. Exactly. Perhaps these computers communicate with spacemen too. Wow, says Max. Uncle Stephen continues. My old book of mystery has a secret code. But there is a symbol I don't understand. I want to understand this symbol because I want to understand Stone Ages. This computer can be very dangerous because bad people can use the information. We must protect the book. Do you understand? Yes, they all reply. The twins are tidying the house. Suddenly, Laura stops and says, Max, look, what do you think this is? She gives her brother a small silver object. It is round with a triangle and a strange cross in the middle. It's got the pin at the back. It's a brooch? Yes, perhaps. It's belonged to the thief. Let's give it to Uncle Stephen. They tell their uncle the story and he looks at the small object. He put it in his desk and his face is serious. He don't say anything. Max and Laura going to the living room. There is something strange about the object, Laura, says Max. Now that symbol. Yes, says Laura. Me too. I recognize it. But where from? Chapter 7. A Noisy Night. At 7 o'clock, Mrs. Black arrives. She helps cook the dinner and listen to the story. Terrible, she says. Every summer there are thieves in Stonecross. They know that there are a lot of tourists. But you say the tourists don't come to Stonehenge? answered Laura. Yes. Well, it depends. Some summer there are lot, and some summer there aren't a lot. Suddenly a telephone rings. It is Mrs. Black's mobile phone. Excuse me, she says, and smiled at everyone. She goes to the hall and speaks in a soft voice. Yes, yes. Okay. Don't worry. Everything's alright. I don't know. Perhaps tonight? Perhaps tomorrow night? Okay, bye. My son, she explains. He is 27 and he doesn't know how to cook. Can you believe it? Mom laughed. I'm sure he prepares a wonderful cooking. Later that evening, everyone is playing card together. Mom is winning. She always wins. Mrs. Black says, "Who wants a nice cup of hot chocolate?" During the evening and at the night, it is cold in the house. They says, "Yes, please, Mrs. Black." But Laura says, "No, thank you." The housekeeper seems offended. "Why not?" she says angrily. "Hot chocolate helps you sleep." "I can sleep with no problem, thank you," replies Rara. Mrs. Black is not very happy, but goes to the kitchen to make hot chocolate for the others. It's creamy, chocolatey, and delicious. "This is wonderful, Mrs. Black. What is the secret ingredient? Do you have any secret ingredient?" asked Mom. "It's my grandma's secret recipe," she says and laughs. She says good night and goes home. Soon everyone is very sleepy and goes to bed. Only Rara isn't tired. In the middle of the night, outside the sky is full of stars, but there is no moon. Everyone is sleeping. Mom is dreaming and Dad is snoring. Suddenly Rara sits up in the bed. There is a noise. Someone is downstairs. She relaxes. It is probably her father. Sometimes gets up and sleepwalk. But no, she can hear of that father. He is snoring in his bedroom. She gets up very quickly. Yes, there is someone, the noises, in the study. She goes downstairs. She is very quiet. When she is outside the study, she stops and listens. She hears sound of paper. She pushes the door, opens quietly. "Stop, thief!" she shouts. But to see her surprise, she sees Mrs. Black. She is sitting at the Uncle Stephen desk reading his notebook. "Oh, Mrs. Black, it's you," says Laura. Hello, Laura. I can't find my car keys. Perhaps they are here. I don't want to disturb everyone." "Oh, all right," says Laura. But then she remembers Mrs. Black hasn't got a car. At the moment, Dad and Uncle Stephen arrives. They think there is another thief. Dad laughs and smiles. "Poof! It's you, Mrs. Black. Hello, Mrs. Black. You're working late tonight?" Uncle Stephen doesn't laugh. "What are you doing in my study, Mrs. Black?" he asks. She tells him the story of the car keys. Uncle Stephen replies, "Tomorrow we can all look for the key together. Now it's time to sleep. Good night, Mrs. Black." He opens the door and the housekeeper goes out. She doesn't look at Uncle Stephen when she says, "Good night, everyone." Chapter 8. Now I remember. For 2 or 3 days, everything is normal and everyone is happy. Mrs. Black says her son has got the car key and they aren't lost after all. Laura looks at Mrs. Black but decided not to say anything. On Wednesday afternoon, Mom and Dad go walking. Dad wants to sleep, but Mom says, No, Andrew, you can't sleep all holidays. All right, he replied. But he is not very happy. What about you, Stephen? Come with us. No, thank you. I'm on work. Auntie Barbara laughed and said to Mom, Sarah, your husband sleep all the time and my husband work all the time. Don't laugh, Barbara. Uncle replied, my work is very important. Everyone laugh. Sometimes on the Stephen is very funny. Today I want to work a lot. Please don't disturb me, he says, and goes to study. Can I come with you too? Asked Auntie Barbara. Of course, they replied. They all put on their walking boots and say goodbye to the twins. Max and Laura decided to explore the different part of the village. In the village, there is a small hill. It is in strange shape, and on the top there is a stone cross. The village probably has the name Stone Cross because there is a stone cross on the hill, says Lara. Very clever, Sherlock, says her brother. They look up to the cross in the hill. Two people are talking near it. Sun is behind them and the two twins can't see very well. Who are those two people? They ask together. Mrs. Black and Martin Knight. Let's go and listen, says Max. No, Max, says Lara. We mustn't listen to. Suddenly she stopped. Her face is white. Max, now I remember. Max's face is white too. He remembers the same thing. I know. Me too. The symbol. Yes. I know where it come from. Yes, Mr. Black earring. It is the same symbol. What? I remember. It's Martin Knight tie. What this means? Mrs. Black and Martin Knight. No, they are thieves. Perhaps one of them is a thief. Do you remember? This is Black reading Uncle Stephen notebooks. Do you remember, Martin? Knight question? What can we do? Come on, Lara, follow me, says Max. They start to go up the hills, but Mrs. Black and Martin Knight aren't there. We are too late. Where are they now? Says Lara. I don't know, answer Max. Come on, let's go home and tell Uncle Stephen what we know. They start to walk home, but on the hill, two dark shades are watching them from behind the stone cross. Chapter 9. Uncle Stephen understands. Uncle Stephen is happy. Finally he can work in peace. He makes a cup of tea and goes into his study. On his desk, there is a old book of mystery and the silver branch with a strange symbol. He takes the branch in his hand and looks at it. He knows it is a part of the mystery, but how? The circle is similar to Stonehenge's. The triangle is similar to the hills around it. But what does the cross means? Uncle Stephen recognized the symbol, but where from? He drinks some more tea. He thinks. He looks at the window. From the window, he can see the strange hills in the village and a stone cross on the top of it. Wait a minute, he says. The strange stone cross. He looks at the branch. Yes, it's the same. He quickly turned to a page in the old book of mystery. He reads something and shouts, Yes, now I understand. I must telephone Professor Johnson in London. He takes the phone and calls the number. Hello, Professor. It's Stephen Merrill here. Listen, we must meet. Can I bring the both to you in London? It's not safe here. There's a train at 5 o'clock this evening. It gets to London at 7 o'clock. Yes. See you at the station. Goodbye and thank you. He put the phone down and picks up his cup of tea. I'm sure the tea cold now, says a cold voice behind him. He turns quickly and sees the shadow of Mrs. Black in the door. What are you doing here? He asked angrily. You don't work today. What do you want? Mrs. Black's earrings shine in the sun. You know what I want, madam, she says. Give me that book. Chapter 10. A Doctor's Visit. Max and Laura play near the river for some time. At late go back to the cottage. Everything is quiet. They don't have the key, so they knock the door. Nobody answers. They knock again. Mrs. Black answers the door. She is wearing an apron and she has a rolling pin in her hand. She says, "Hello children, I am making a delicious chocolate cake for lunch. Your Uncle Stephen isn't feeling very well. Your parents aren't here and I want to help." What do you mean? Uncle Stephen is fine, says Max. He has an headache and a temperature, Mrs. Black replied. He works too hard. This is very strange. Uncle Stephen is never ill. Max and Laura don't believe the housekeeper. I want to talk to my uncle, says Laura. Me too, says Max. Mrs. Black is a big woman. She stands in the door and the twins can't pass. It's not a good idea, she tells them. Your uncle is upstairs. He's resting. I want to see my uncle. Now, repeats Laura. You can't see him. There is a doctor with him now. Mrs. Black shouts. Laura pushed the woman and she falls to the floor. Max runs past her too. They go to the study. Their uncle is not there. They run upstairs. Uncle Stephen, are you alright? Shouts Laura. But there is no answer. Max opens the bedroom. Uncle Stephen is lying on the bed. He can't move his arm or leg because there is a rope around them. There is a big hump on his head and his eyes are closed. Is he died? Asked Clara in the frightened voice. No, he's sleeping, Max replied. Look, he is breathing. Yes, he is sleeping, says familiar voice. They look up and see a man in the room. Martin Knight, they say together. Oh yes, he laughs. Your uncle is sleeping. Now we can take his book and discover the secret of the stone. Now no one can stop us, especially to stupid children. At the moment, Mrs. Black arrives. I see, you know my son, she says. She is holding the roping pin. Suddenly, Max understands what she wants to do. Quick, Laura! He pushes his sister to the floor. The rolling pin misses Laura's head. Max jumps up. He tried to take the roping pin from Mrs. Black. Laura gets up and starts to run away. Martin Knight tried to stop her, but she is very fast. Suddenly, outside, they hear the sound of the siren. It's a police car. Quick, the police! Shouts Martin. He and Mrs. Black run when the police arrive at the door. There are two policemen waiting for them. They put handcuffs on the two criminals and push them into the police van. Laura telephones for an ambulance for Uncle Stephen. Max speaks to the policeman. Thank you, he says, but I don't understand why. He stops. Under the tree in the garden, he saws an old man. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter comes and talks to Max. Remember, boy, you must tell me your problem, he says. I know these people. I know this place. I know when there is a problem. Thank you, says Max. You're welcome. The old man smiles. Now, how about a nice cup of tea? Chapter 11. The Secret of the Stones. The next day, everyone is at the hospital. Uncle Stephen is in bed. The doctor says that there is only one problem: the big bump on Uncle Stephen's head. Uncle Stephen opens his eyes. Hello, Barbara. What day is today? It's Thursday, darling. Oh, hello, Andrew. Hello, everyone. What are you doing here? Don't you have school today, children? It's the summer holidays, Rara replied. We are in Stone Cross, remember? Says Max. Stone Cross? Holiday? No, I don't remember. We are in London, I think. Uncle Stephen doesn't remember. He doesn't remember about the holiday, about Mrs. Black and Martin Knight, and most important of all, he doesn't remember about the secret of the stones. You remember the symbol, the branch, the old book of mystery? They ask him. He smiles and says, No, sorry. A policeman arrives. He tells them that the two criminals, Martin Smith and his mother, Dorothy Smith, are part of secret organization. The name of the organization is the Black Knight, he says. They want to find the secret of Stonehenges and use the secret to become rich and powerful. Mr. Merrill is the only person who knows the secret but I don't know the secret, says Uncle Stephen. I'm sorry everyone, but I can't remember. Perhaps it's the best thing, says Auntie Barbara. The stone can keep their 5,000 years old secret. It's not right to take them from them now. Everyone agrees. Perhaps we can find another secret next holiday, says Max and Laura together. Perhaps next holiday I can stay in London, says Uncle Stephen. He rubs the bump on his head. Poor Uncle Stephen, everybody laughs. No more adventures this summer, says Max. But perhaps at Christmas, says Laura. Who knows?